Hi everyone, it's Jill Lancet coming at you from beautiful downtown Greystanes in Australia. How's everybody this fine Thursday night? Now, I had to think about this, and I've been promoting these templates, and I thought I'd give you a proper demonstration on how these work. Now, these are free. You can request these. They're just basically the card mats where you can line them up and see whether that's the one you want, whether that's the border you want, or if you want a different size. But I'm going to show you what the difference between the US letter size and the A4 metric sizes are. So quite often you will be watching a demonstrator from a different country to yours, and they give you all the measurements, and you go off, you cut it all up, and then for some reason or other it doesn't fit. And the reason is because they may well have been using the US letter sizes or the metric A4 sizes, which would be different to your country. So what I've done here is I've cut these out. When you request them, you just get them on a sheet, a PDF, one sheet, and I actually cut around them to the actual size of the cards. I just thought that would be helpful to me. So you don't have to do that, but that's what I did. I'm a very visual person, and I like to see things as I'm going along. So what I've got here, and look, the paper and the card itself is basically not the relevant part of this particular video. The particular part that I want you to take note of is the differences in the sizes. I'm going to make two cards exactly the same. One will be in US letter size and one will be in A4 metric size. And if you've ever been in that position and thought, I must be going crazy because I cut everything out as per the instructions, this could be the reason why. And I'm going to show you how you can convert those instructions or that demonstrator's video. So the first thing I want to do is show you the actual card sizes themselves. Now this is our A4 and this is US letter size. Now this is half A4 and then it's scored at 10.5. That is a basic card base. This is the US card base. Now it is 4.5 by 5, 4.25 by 5.5. Forgive me if I stumble over these because these are not, these don't roll off the tongue like these do after a while. You've been doing them for so long. So if I pop them together, if I line them up at the spine and at the base, you will see that the metric cards are taller and a little bit narrower than the US. So if you've ever tried to put US measurements on our A4 cards, you're not going to quite get that balanced finished look that you saw in the demonstration because our cards are a different size. So I'm going to go through them and I'm going to explain them, and we're going to make these two cards as we go along at the same time. So I have the two card bases here, and I have a matte one according to the template in both country sizes. So I'm going to pop those on the card bases, and yeah, you will see that they turn out to be this. I mean, it's possible to make the same card. It's always possible. But whether you wanted to sort of drain the brain and try and work it out to get it right is another thing. So I'm going to lay that on there. You'll see that lovely border It's about 1/4 of an inch shorter, which makes the border 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm going to make this one here as well. And this is Blueberry Bushel, in case you were wondering. The papers are retired. It was the papers called Sun Prints. I think they were in last annual catalogue. Don't quote me. But look, use any paper you like. I'm just trying to use up some papers that are in my stash because I don't want them wasted. Yeah, I paid money for them and I don't want to waste them. So now you've got a similar border. Now, it may not be exactly the same, but it will yield a very balanced card. So we have this here now. I'm going to pop our matte 2. So on our little template, this designer series paper is matte 2, and it is cut at those measurements. Look, you can request these and have them at your fingertips all the time. So I'm just using some seal, and hope I don't run out. So we've got the same border. Based on the template sizes, the border is the same between the white, the Blueberry Bushel, and the beautiful designer series paper. So it looks very balanced. It's a very cohesive looking card. So I'm going to do that on the A4 metric one. Hang on. Hold your horses, honey. Something's happened. I've had a frog in my throat all evening, all afternoon. So I have some beautiful berry infusion here in case I need it. And pardon me if I do. It seems to be okay at the moment. Touch wood. Now, I'm not right over the top of that, but I'm pretty sure that looks good. Okay, so now you can see the cards are quite different in size and shape. So the next thing I wanted to do was take a piece of the coordinating paper, and this was matte 4, so I've gone this length here, this 12.85 centimeters, or 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Now at that measurement, I just took the banner punch, this big banner punch here, and I've put that in. Turn it over is the easiest way to do this, I find, because quite often your piece may not be the same width as the guides allow. So I just pop it in there and go in as far as I can, and then just check the width, the borders between them. Now this, I can tell you right now, you need to allow 1.7 centimeters or 3/4 of an inch to where you want your banner point, and I'm talking about the inside banner part, this part here. Because when you pop this in, I'll show you on the other end. I'm not going to cut it, but I will show you what I'm talking about. When I poke that in, I want it to go right to the end. So when I've got that right to the end and I've lined it up and centered it up and everything, the banner is actually going to end, this point is going to end at 3/4 of an inch or 1.7 centimeters further. So just be aware of that, a bit of practice. So I've already done those. So what I want to do is I want to line those up with the top edge, and I'll just use a little bit of seal. Now bear with me in case I can't see this properly. Now I'm putting it about, I don't know, probably about 1/4 of an inch or a centimeter in. I'm lining that up with the top of the designer series paper. I just thought it was more interesting with that banner end. So the same piece of matte 4, which is 4.5 inches long, but I have changed this to be half the measurement of matte 4. So that was half, this is half as well. So I'm going to pop that on there, and you'll notice I'm sort of keeping that over to the side, about 1/4 inch, but lining that up with the top. Now I've basically just thrown this card together just to show you how they end up, okay? So we're up to this point here. Now I have 2 pieces of just scrap white, and they're both the same size. This one is in metric, 9.5 by 3.2 centimeters. This one is 3 3/4 by 1 1/4, but they are both the same size. Now I have set up the Stamparatus. Now I'm just going to pop that out of the way while I show you what I'm going to do next. So I have set up here the 2 stamps, Hip Hip Hooray. Now I've got Hooray set up on one side. Now look, if you ever, honestly, I would not send you on a fool's errand. If you ever saw a Stamparatus for sale secondhand and it was a reasonable price and you could afford it, I would recommend you jump at it, because these plates come out and I can turn them around. I can put them over here. You get 2 plates with it. You get the mat. It's a retired product, and I'm sorry that we don't still carry them, because I personally think this is the best thing since sliced bread. Now I've turned that around. I've got Hip Hip up the top there. I'm going to put my little scrap up right up in the corner. I think I better move my cup of tea. Hang on a tick. Okay. Ooh, that's lovely tea. So that's up in the top corner. Now I'm going to put a magnet over here because I've got a bit of space over here. And I'm going to ink this up with the Blueberry Bushel. Now, you've all probably seen these stamping positioners, regardless of what brand it is. They are amazingly helpful, because if you don't get it right the first time, you can just re-ink that and stamp it again, and it will stamp in the same place. Look at that. Hip Hip. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around. No, I'm not going to turn this around. I'm going to turn this around. Oi. Okay, so I'm going to turn that around, pop that back in, make sure this is up in the corner because I've already set this up, and I'm going to ink up the other half, which is Hooray, Hip Hip Hooray. Now what I did was, I thought it would look cute if it kind of nestled in there, so I did my best, and I've got that like that. Now they're both the same size, so I'm actually going to go and do them both, and then we can start to finish this card off. So I'm not going to turn that around because it's already in the right spot. So I'll just reverse the way I do it. I'll do the Hooray first. Blueberry Bushel is such a lovely blue. Kind of reminds me of Pacific Point to a degree. So there's Hooray, and now I can turn this around. Now if you were doing multiples of these, how easy would this be? Like, you know, you just do it in, what do they call that? You know, like process line, like a process line. So you would do certain bits and then you would move on to the next one. Okay, that's pushed up into the corner. I've got hip hip hooray. And I can stamp that again if I need to. I don't think I need to, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm happy with that. And I can bring our cards back now. So here's our US letter size one. Here is our A4 one. Now with this, I want to banner the end of this. So I'm going to, I've allowed that 3/4 of an inch here, or the 1.7 centimeters. I've already allowed that so that where the stamp ends with this size. Now, you won't be able to do that unless you get your stamps in exactly the same position as I had, but you can work it out. You can work it out yourself. So I'm going to pop that in there. Now, that is, again, not in falling in with one of the guides, but that's okay. I can do it myself. So what I've done is I've pushed it right to the end. Pushed it right to the end. Now I'm hoping you can see this. And I've just checked the space between that end and that end. Now that looks okay to me. I mean, it's not going to win any awards, but it's not bad. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm popping that right to the end. I'm just lining it up where I think it should be. That space and that space look the same. And there we go. Now I can trim this side down. So depending on the width of each of these cards, I can trim this down a little bit. So I'm able to do that quite easily. So I just need a pencil here, and I think I'll just line it up with the designer series paper. Just there. And I see this one can afford to come over a little bit further because it's just that little bit wider. So I will just put a mark there. I'll get my little guillotine, which is also a retired product, which I wish they would bring back. This thing is so handy. But I have seen them. You know, if you really wanted to buy one, you would be able to buy one. So just trimming that off there. That lives up there. And now I can just pop this on here. I can pop it up on dimensionals if I want to, and I think I will. And the finishing touch were these, and I think these are retired also. I don't even know what colours they are. The package is gone. But I just saw this pretty blue, and I thought, no, I think I really like that. So what I'm going to do is just get some dimensionals. And here's another tip. When all the dimensionals are gone, don't throw these bits out. We call them the bones, and they're really, really handy because, yeah, they're dimensional as well. So, see, this will fit really nicely on here. And it will support it just as well, if not better, than the little ones. So, yeah. So I can just cut another piece about there. Pop that on there like that. And maybe put another little tiny bit there. And this one's done. And then I'll do the same for this one here. So yeah, Don't chuck them out. They're very, very useful. Sometimes I just use them. It just saves you peeling off 6 or 7 of them, and because it takes me so long. Oh dear. Anyway, couple of little tips along the way. I have got one little dimensional here that I can pop there, and this little bit here, I might just use that in the middle there. Okay, so we just about finished this card, so I can peel these off, and the good thing about using these strips is, like, you know, you've got to peel that off every single little one. Look, there's a whole row done. Whole row done. Whole row done. Okay, now I want it about there. I want it to line up with that designer series paper there. And the good thing about the dimensionals is, you know, when you just pop them on, they're okay. You can still move them if you need to. That looks good to me. Let's do the same with this one. Now, the reason I thought I would do this is if somebody can come up with something that makes card making more enjoyable, less stressful for you, then I'm happy. I'm happy to help people out with that, because we all need a bit of help sometimes. Sometimes we just, you know, a bit down, or we just struggle with measurements or something. You know, it's just really hard sometimes. So now I've got a bit of space here, and this is where I thought I would put these gorgeous little blue gems. And yes, I still have not got my take your pick. Oh, there's something stuck on that. Here we go. So I thought I'd put 3. Look, go through your stash, find whatever papers and gems and such that you have. And I thought I might put a couple more down there, but let's put these on here first. Okay. Put two small ones, one up there. Oops, one down here. I thought I might put some somewhere else. So, yeah. And the struggle begins. What about a big one over here and a small one over there? There we go. And we'll do the same on here. We'll put a big one there and a small one up there. So look, let me know what you think about, I mean, it's a very simple card. I was going to stamp inside with one of the other larger messages, sending sunshine and good feelings your way. I think I still will, because then I will have some cards ready to go. Now look, I only have these little, well, I don't have only these, I have a lot of these. And apart from taking a couple of extra seconds to ink up, there's no difference between these and the larger ink pads. So if you're on a budget, a tight budget, you can buy the re-inkers, that is the ink in the bottle. You can buy a packet of these. I think there's 5 in the packet. They're uninked. And you just ink them up whatever colour you want. So I just find those very economical. And look, you can re-ink them and re-ink them and re-ink them until the cows come home. Now, this is not 100% straight, this stamp, the font on this stamp, so it's probably not that hard to line up. But I've done it in the same beautiful blueberry bushel, just to, you know, tie it in. Now I could have put that on the Stamparatus, but I was too lazy. But doesn't that look lovely? So it wouldn't matter if it was a tiny bit not straight. I'll do the other one. I'll just make sure I've got that out of the way so it doesn't, you know, create a wrinkle or something underneath. I'm just going to ink this up. And I've just made 2 cards. Now they can go into my stash. But at the same time, I have shown you how to use the templates and how to translate those sizes as well. So there we go. The only issue I might have is finding an envelope to fit that, but you can make your own envelopes, and I might even do that one day. Don't hold me to that promise. Yeah, I might have just bitten off more than I could chew, but you can. And there we go. Look at that. 2 lovely, lovely cards. Very, very quick. Used up a lot of retired product that I normally wouldn't be able to use. And I've shown you the difference between a US letter size and an A4. So don't forget, if you'd like a copy of those, the PDF, I can email that to you if you email a request to me at this email address here. Now, please like, subscribe and share this video. And let's get these out there. I'm sure your friends would appreciate an easier way to convert. Because I know I love watching all the US demonstrators, and I have to sit down and figure it out. If you start with these basic sizes, you know, you can adjust these smaller pieces. That's easy. That's the easy part. But yeah, dealing with the basics can often be a bit challenging. So I've taken the challenge out of it for you. Not my original idea. I just want to stress that Kylie Bertucci came up with these, and I have just recreated them in my own language and sizes. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with everybody. So thank you so much for spending a bit of time with me again, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody, and thank you so much. Don't forget, like, subscribe and share. Thank you. Bye.